Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Footy Show, the return of the Footy Show. It's been so busy in the last few weeks. We haven't had a chance to do it. And I tell you what, since we last did it, the Premier League's gone a bit nuts, Baz. It's gone a bit nuts. Manchester City are absolutely running away with it now. Liverpool have just lost 5 home games in a row and find themselves looking forward to Thursday nights. And it's just gone crazy. It's gone crazy in terms of there's still a lot of teams who think they can get Champions League. There's a lot of teams who think they can get Europe, and it's really building up. You know, with 12, 11 games to go, it's getting excited. And of course, this weekend is the Manchester derby, and it could spell the end of the title race. Really,
yeah, definitely. If City win this weekend, there's no way they're getting over. I mean, there's probably no way they're getting overtaken now anyway, but this one will be putting a marker down. Job done, isn't it? Yeah. Get to the win this game, and that's it. Really, the home and dry, which is mad considered, like you said, since we last did it. It was looking, you know, there was a few teams in the run, but it's been all changed.
If you go back, I mean, Manchester United are not on a very good run, are they? I think they've only won something like 3 in the last 10, something like that. And if you go back, they got a draw at Anfield, and everyone was, you know, saying how big that result was, and how, you know, that kept United at the top, and everyone was talking about that and that rivalry. You know, Man United and Liverpool back challenging for the title, and it felt everyone was made up in the media and stuff because obviously they all want that to be the darlings, aren't they? And it's funny, isn't it? Because City, this rivalry with City United, it doesn't spark the same kind of conversation.
No.
Because even though City have grabbed it and now the best team and they'll win the league this season, let's be honest, no problem. But that rival, it's still, it's like everybody else in the league, all the pretenders or all the people who've done well in the last 20 years have all decided, no, City are not a thing. No, they're not real. There's no real rivalry with anyone because it's like they've all ganged up together. Like, we're the big boys. You're just a pretender.
You're just money.
Yeah, you're just money. There's a new show called Hold the L with the Super 6 lads have done it. Let's just watch this a minute.
Can I just say, from an outside perspective, because obviously we're down south, I actually think that Arsenal have a bigger rivalry with Manchester United than Manchester City.
That's nonsense.
I'm sorry, but if you want to talk about Premier League and history, Arsenal and Manchester United dominated the Premier League for more than a decade. Ferguson versus Wenger, league titles, Battle of Old Trafford's, all these type of things. The rivalry between Arsenal and Manchester United, honest to God, I think is bigger. Because, you know, like it's already been said, Manchester City, they've come onto the scene now and everything else, but nobody looks at them as a rival. There's no real history of rivalry apart from postcodes in Manchester.
Yeah, so there's the lads on Super 6's YouTube channel there with that new Hold the L, which is a debate show. So it's going to be interesting to see what else they debate. But they're talking about rivalry there, and they are trying to almost dismiss Manchester City. I think we were talking before, just mentioning City, and it's like, no one's really the rivals because they're better than everybody else. So you don't want to like kind of shine the spotlight on, you know, your rivalry with someone where you can't get close to them, and that's the way it is. But I mean, I guess from a Manchester perspective, at the moment it is City and United.
Do you think if I know, sort of part of one argument, part of another argument, but do you think if United sort of decide, you know, I don't know if you could decide who your rivals are. Man United have had a big rivalry with Liverpool for years, and City, because they didn't do well, they've dismissed them. But do you think that maybe if Man United started to look at City as proper rivals and start taking them seriously as a club, then maybe they might get a little bit closer to them and start actually going, instead of going, our traditional rivals are Liverpool and our traditional rivals are you know, as DT was saying in that, you know, Arsenal in the you know, the 2000s or whatever. If they start going, no, City are our actual rivals, it's about time. You know, we've had this for nearly a decade now, or, you know, 7, 8 years, whatever it is. We better start taking these, because City, have shown this season, and they'll show next season, that they're the dominant force. There's no way. Liverpool last season were amazing, the season before winning the Champions League. But what they did, and we've seen that with Liverpool recently, is that can't continue.
No.
Jurgen Klopp has worked those players, and he's lost players now through injury because of he's worked those players so hard. That can't be replicated. But Pep Guardiola, he had a dip last season, but he'll go in the summer and buy more players, and they will get a stranglehold. And I know we said this before in Liverpool won the league, but they'll get a stranglehold that'll keep them either 1 or 2 for a very long time.
Seems like that, yeah.
So I think Man United have to decide if they want to be the top dog. They've got to focus on who the real top dog is.
Maybe they are though, but they don't want to give that extra spotlight because it's Man City. You can't.
Yeah.
It's like in that video as well. Chris from the Redmen is talking about Liverpool and United as being like the biggest rivalry and the 2 most dominant forces. Although Liverpool have won 1 Premier League and United have won it for ages. There is a fierce rivalry. He's right in one. They've won the most leagues between them, so there is that ongoing rivalry. But Liverpool United, I look at Everton and Liverpool is a much bigger rivalry than Liverpool and United. Liverpool and United might be to the.
But isn't that the same thing?
world.
No, isn't that the same thing as almost like what we're saying with Manchester City, Man United. Man United for years have not been prepared. They look down the nose, and Liverpool do the same to us. They look down the nose, going, "Well, it can't be a real rivalry. It's not a real derby because you haven't won anything." And it's like, behave yourselves. Of course it is. It's you hate us more than you hate United, and you just won't admit it.
The last time Liverpool won the league in 1990, Everton had the 2nd most league titles. They had 18 or whatever it was, 18 wasn't it when they won the thingy? We had 9. We've been overtaken by Arsenal, we've been overtaken by United in that time, but to that, wasn't the 2 most dominant. So you're right, it is a kind of, and listen, maybe if we were in their position and we'd won 19 league titles and Liverpool had won 9, we'd kind of be going, oh yeah, you're whatever, our rivals are. Down the road at Manchester. But, I mean, rivals, in that they call it derbies. Liverpool, Man United is not a derby, and neither is Arsenal, Man United, and all these other things they try to argue away. But no, City, you're right, City are here.
City are 40.
City are here to stay.
City 14 points clear with 11 games to go. With you to win at the weekend, 17 points with 10 to go. They'd only need 13 points to win the league if Man United won every game from then on, which Man United won't.
No.
Yeah, you'd imagine it's going to be over, isn't it? I mean, look, don't get me wrong, City are going to win the league anyway, but just to put that. I mean, I suppose for Pep Guardiola, if he can get the league done as fast as possible, and then the Champions League becomes the thing, because that's at the end of the day, that's the thing that he really needs, doesn't he? He never won one at Bayern Munich. He hasn't won one at City, of course. City need that. Talking about being respected. City really need to win a Champions League to be looked at by everyone else in Europe. As at the moment, everyone pats them on the head and goes, look at you with all your money. And they don't want to like them because they've got the money. Same as Paris Saint-Germain, exactly the same. No one wants to give them respect because it's new money. And everyone else is like old football royalty. So Man City have to...
Yeah, they've got to do
go
more,
and get it.
Almost. And if they can win the league and then win the Champions League this year, who should stop them? Who can stop them? When they're on, they won, 20 on the run or something now?
21, isn't it?
21 on the run. They're a fantastic football side, and they've done it without Sergio Aguero, who's still absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Done it for a lot of time without a striker.
Kevin De Bruyne has been in and out, injuries, so they're a fantastic side. But for United, this weekend, it's a chance to just remind City that, they're still here.
Not only that, though, Leicester go to Brighton. And Leicester have been in and out of form. But if Leicester win and Man United lose, Leicester go second. 50, they'll go to 53 points. So, they'd still...
It's a big weekend for United, definitely, and City. And then, like you say, Champions League comes back as well. So Pep Guardiola if he can, will want to try and get the title shown up as quickly as possible, and then put all his eggs in one basket, then really going for that Champions League. Because if they do get that, then the respect will revert. Well, he'll have to. They'll won a Champions League.
But the top four's gone well, obviously at the moment it's City, United, Leicester, Chelsea, Everton, 5th, West Ham, then Liverpool, then Tottenham. It really, it's boiling up to something, isn't it? And when you see the likes of, when you see Leicester in there, when you see Everton 5th, when you see West Ham in 6th, it shows you that the traditional big clubs with their big rivalries, they're not having it their own way. They're definitely not having it their own way, and it's going to be so interesting to see who holds their nerve, who pulls away. Chelsea are in great form, obviously. Everton played Chelsea on Monday night. That's a big game, but the form Liverpool are in at the moment. I mean, don't get me wrong, Liverpool are only 4 points behind Chelsea as it stands. It's, with 11 games to go, it's not massive, but it's going to be interesting to see how it all ends up.
One of the things we said on this going through the season was, it's mad, isn't it, how many teams are beating who, and it'll settle down, or maybe it won't settle down, and it hasn't really settled down.
No.
We're talking with 11 games. I know a couple of, like Everton, I've got 12 games to go, but some teams have got 11 games to go, and yet you could probably still make a case down to about 9th there. You could still get into Europe.
Villa are in 9th, 39 points.
Yeah, so they're not totally out of it. Villa, a couple of wins and teams drop points. Villa are right back in it. So
they've got games in hand as well.
Exactly. So you're looking at there and going, we're still talking about 9 clubs going. Okay, take City out of it because they've probably won the league. Top 4 still potentially go down to 9th. It'd take a big effort, of course. It would from the other teams as well, like Villa, to really turn points around on like Leicester and that.
But the thing about it is, though,
the
thing about it is, though, you look at it from a point of view of getting into Europe, certainly for the likes of Everton, for West Ham, for Villa, Arsenal, 7th, if obviously Man City playing Tottenham, if Man City win the League Cup, the Carabao Cup, then that goes to 6th, and obviously if one of the top 6 then go and wins the FA Cup, of course, then Europe goes to 7th. So a lot of teams will be thinking, well, if we're fighting for Europe, we all want to be in Europe. Champions League's like the extra carrot. Like, certainly for Everton, it's great that we're we're 5th at the moment, but I'm thinking, well, if we can stay 5th, I'll be very, very happy with that.
Yeah. And
if we're fighting for 5th, then there's always the chance that we might get 4th. So
I think every one of those clubs there will look at it, and certainly the likes of Everton and West Ham, where they are, will be looking at it going, we've just got to do our job. We've just got to get 7 or 8 wins in these last 12 games. And it's a big ask, of course it is, but then I think both teams have won half of it. I know Everton have definitely won more than half the games, so both teams will be looking and thinking, if we go week by week and we chalk another win off and we chalk another win off, teams are beating each other. We saw Chelsea go to Liverpool this week and beat them. City will probably beat most of the teams they come up against, so everyone's going to be dropping points. So, and Everton have got City away, of course, last day of the season. So that's another reason why we want them in the Champions League final. So yeah, it's really interesting. It's mad because it's still, we know it's a mad season. It still doesn't really feel like football properly because we're not going the game. But it is getting exciting. It's getting exciting from our perspective because Everton are doing really well. But it is exciting that there's so many teams who can get into that top 4. I mean, you're talking there about Leicester. But Everton are now, I think Everton are 4 points behind Leicester with a game in hand. Is that right? So, Brighton were to beat Leicester and Everton were to win at Chelsea. All of a sudden, Everton are a point behind Leicester, who the top 3, and City beat United. I think we'd be 2 points behind Man United, who were talking about going for the league. So there's still a hell of a lot to play for with these games, and it does seem to be looking and going, they're falling away now, and then they win 2 games and they're right back.
Certainly for Everton, it'd just be lovely to have some breathing space behind us, wouldn't it? But that's the thing, that's the pressure. Maybe that's the pressure behind that and above that keeps everyone
when you're
on the toes.
chasing though, and that team couple of places above you keeps winning, it's disheartening, isn't it? That's the thing. So Everton have got to, if Everton are in a position where the likes of Spurs and Villa are chasing them, Everton have just got to keep trying to get those points on the board. But it's so difficult to sit here today and go, that'll be the top 4. You'd expect United to finish in there, probably more because of the name, but also because of the forward players they've got. But then they haven't been in great form. They drew with Palace the other night. Then you're looking at Leicester have been up and down. They look like they're on a great run, then they fall away. Liverpool, you'd say, with the history of the last couple of years, will get a run going, but they've just lost 5 home games on the bounce. Don't forget, Liverpool were top around Christmas time, and so everyone's had peaks and troughs, haven't they, of worrying Everton. We just won our first home game in 2021. So there's still a hell of a long way to go, I guess, and I'm sure there'll be more twists and turns, but
yeah, it's shaping up. It's shaping up really interesting. I mean,
what about the bottom?
I was going to say the bottom at the moment. Sheffield United obviously won this week, and they look like they're gone 14 points. West Brom are on 17 points. They play Newcastle on Sunday. That's a game they're going to have to win.
Yeah, they've got to win.
But if they do win that game, Fulham are only 3 points behind them.
Yeah,
Newcastle with a better goal difference. And then you've got Brighton on 26 as well. So if Fulham could get a win this weekend,
at Anfield and make it 6.
Yeah, I mean they won't.
No. But if Fulham went and got a draw at Anfield for themselves and West Brom were to beat Newcastle, then all of a sudden you're talking 2 points in it. And don't forget, Newcastle this week have lost, the news that St Maxim and Callum Wilson are out till April, which is their
Almiron as well.
And Almiron as well. I don't actually say Maxim, don't think he's out that long, but he's injured at the moment. But
all 3 of them out.
Almiron and Callum Wilson are out definitely for a while. So all of a sudden their most creative goal threats are gone.
Yeah.
And they're not in great form. Then Fulham, you'd be looking at, if you were Fulham and going, tell you what, we can get a couple of wins. And don't forget that final game of the season's Newcastle-Fulham. So,
yeah.
It's
very, very
up,
interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. Yeah, Newcastle and Brighton have got a game in hand as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's shaping up to be a very interesting end of the season. Top and bottom, always is. Football. It never ends.
Doesn't. Go and have a look at the debate show on Super Six's YouTube channel if you want to see more of that argument on rivalry and other things.
There you go. Hopefully we'll be back next week because we want to get back into this because
the business end
of the season, and yeah, we haven't got midweek games. I don't think for a while. So make sure if you want to watch more of the Hold the L video, you head over to the Super 6 YouTube channel. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment on the video as well. Get involved over there. So the lads, subscribe to the channel. I'm sure they'll have more great videos out, and I'm sure we'll be involved in them.
The link's in the description.
It's in the description.
Just click on that.
Check that out. We hopefully will be back next week for more roundup of Premier League football and anything else going on. So don't forget to give this video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you've got more great videos, join us over on Patreon. The link is in the description and also on the screen right now. See you later.